Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Arambra on EBS TV. My name is Chidimma Oranwa. I hope you had a restful night. You're welcome to a brand new day, the 23rd day of August 2022. All right, we are kickstarting the shows this morning with the press review that is bringing to you the stories that are trending on the national dailies and also ABS website. And we have a reviewer with us right here in the studio, but you get to meet him after this short break. Stay with us. All right, you're welcome back to the show. To help us this morning with the reviewing of our papers, we have with us in the studio Comrade Abuchi Onwomelu. He's a public affairs analyst. Comrade, good morning.
Otuto Mandi Anambra. Good morning.
All right, quickly let's start with the stories making the headlines on ABS website. And also to let you know that this is audience participatory. You can actually call us if you have any contribution. The number will be displayed in front of your TV set this morning. Quickly, let's start with the first story on ABS website. Ratau faults NBC on sanction against 52 broadcast stations, calls for stakeholders meeting. And then Anambra government to build modern rehabilitation center for people with substance abuse disorder. Anambra Housing and Urban Development Commissioner Onyeka commends firm for upholding new housing policy at Anambra Luxury Estate Nkwelle Ezunaka. Anambra Transport Ministry receives a 10 laptop computer set from philanthropist Okafor. And also, Soludo inaugurates Anambra State Local Government Joint Account Committee. Comrades, these are what we have on ABS website this morning. I would like us to start with the call from Ratau, telling NBC to revoke the sanction given to 52 broadcast stations. Yes, of course, you're a journalist. So.
Of course, I'm somewhat flabbergasted in the sense that something that is worth doing well. If actually they have a case with some of these broadcast stations, there are ways you can handle it without creating unnecessarily attention. Heads of stations, or will I say the proprietors and proprietors of these stations, should be called, and there should be a room for a dialogue whereby these issues will be addressed, instead of making it public and making a mockery of the media industry, which has actually been a life wire of Nigerian democracy since the return of democracy in 1999. So I'm really not happy the way the NBC went about the sanction, and I really want to let my voice to rescind the decision, and not only that, find another way of resolving the. If closing down the broadcast, how and where do we access authentic and verifiable information? So this is an information age. We are talking about a lack of manpower in some media organizations and lack of employment in Nigeria. And now you're talking about shutting down only when some people are being gainfully employed. So I really want to throw my weight behind Ratawu and give them a thumbs up for actually calling out this. It is time to get anybody that is trying to bring about different employment in this situation. The person should be treated with every atom of care. I'm talking about the broadcast stations, because they are serious employer of labor, whether government-owned stations, whether private sector. We should really appreciate them for the job they've done so far. Some state governments, some governments are owing. So why is this broadcast stations debt different from other debts being owed by even the federal government of Nigeria? So I call for a of them, which end of the day, Nigerians will be major beneficiaries. We're talking about poor masses, the rural and urban area information.
All right, that contribution. Let's quickly look at the other stories. They're talking about Anambra State government modern rehabilitation center for people, youths especially, with substance abuse disorder.
It is moving in the direction. We want to first of all address the cost, the cost and effect. Because if we continue to build or want to rehabilitate, there is a cost. There are things that actually led those youth to engage in drug abuse. We must fight it headlong. The NDLEA, in partnership with Anambra State government, over time have tried to really reduce drug abuse to the barest minimum. But we must. There is need for more enlightenment and sensitization. I'm a youth leader, and I know the message we give out to youths is not that if you abuse drug, it's not just to your own detriment, but to your immediate and entire the society at large, just to your own person. Because people will say, let me live my life. Is it not my life? Am I smoking with you? Am I doing drug with your life and all that? But the people around you are affected one way or the other. So I think I support the building of rehabilitation center, but at the end, but we should ensure that the causes or whatever that will trigger people engaging in drug abuse, that is being stopped and fight to the last. We must find a way, a root cause. If it is about those people peddling the drugs, if it's about the barons who live every day of their life in engaging in drug peddling, we must find a way to talk about the negative effect of these drugs. There are some drugs that are really okay, which we know, but it must be prescribed by a doctor, a medical personnel, before you take it. But here you see every youth from 15 to 30 years, most of them really engaging in all manner of drugs abuse. So we must find a way. If not, if we cannot find a way to stop it, that means we will build more rehabilitation centers we think we can have at the moment. So it is neither here nor there. The most important message is that we go into what we call massive enlightenment. The danger inherent in drug abuse must be emphasized both on the radio, both on the street. And now the women are having their August meeting. Mothers should be involved too, because a mother has a way of talking to his child and a way of reaching out to her children. So I think this will be a veritable opportunity for the stakeholders to go all out and sensitize the mother and those people at the rural areas, because those drug peddlers and abusers, they are there in the urban city, while those people peddling the drugs will go as deep as the rural areas in disseminating, in peddling those drugs, and the people taking it might not know the negative effect. So with the messages from this August meeting, with the messages from the communities, the PGs, the Igwes coming out to say these are the dangers of inherent in drug abuse, please, youth, you should stop it. And there must be a sanction, not just stopping it. Okay, look at the other time. There was a time we were talking about methamphetamine, which is in Ulumili. A lot of people, a lot of communities were flogging some persons. And at the end of the day, we noticed that he has actually gone down the drill. The sanctions are no more effective. But we are saying that they should follow it up and ensure that whoever that engages in drug must face a certain penalties.
All right. Let's know who we have here. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Tell us your name and your location.
Wisdom from River State.
Wisdom from River State. All right, Wisdom, you need to change your location and call us back. All right, let's quickly go to the first paper we have under review this morning, and that's the Daily Sun newspaper. The banner headline there, ISWAP leader, others feared killed in NAF raid as fighter jets bombard more terrorist strongholds in Sambisa forest. Showing Islam's federal government for proscribing IPOB, leaving Mieti Allah untouched. And then down there, Atiku Tinubu Obi lament state of nation on failed plan of action to solve country's problems. Chimamanda also grieves over nation situations. Military governors team up to fight terrorism and boost education. Then we can see down there, Nigerian Tribune and others substituted service on Adeleke. Abductors of Osun APC chieftain demands 15 million naira ransom. All right, these are what we have in front of the Daily Sun newspaper. Let's start with the banner headline. ISWAP leader and others feared killed in NAF raid as fighter jets bombard more terrorist strongholds in Sambisa forest.
Yeah, this, if I say commendation to NAF, let me say thumbs up to them, kudos, but we want to know, and let it not just be what we read, what we've been reading on pages of newspapers, that some persons have been killed. At the end of the day, we still hear people even doing more damage, the terrorists coming out in another form to wreak havoc to the nation. So, but if actually there is atom of sincerity and truth in what they've done, they deserve to be commended. The security agencies, I believe that some of them are really showing concern and in what is really going on. But those are the hem of affairs, talking about the security chiefs, should really look inward and find out if actually that some person somewhere actually compromising their effort, because you find out that some of these people, they've permeated all the nook and crannies of the virtually all facets of our security architecture. They are there, they have their members, because without that, how have they been able to beat some security signals and either to go ahead and cause all manner of havoc to the nation? So I want to say kudos to them, and they should sustain the tempo. They should not rest on their oars. In all, those people carrying out this tax of granting Nigeria safety, we should find a way to commend them and applaud them appropriately. Okay. So at this juncture, I want to commend NAF for doing a yeoman's job.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Tell us your name and your location.
This is Charles from Kaduna.
Charles, how are you doing this morning?
I'm fine. Good morning.
All right, go ahead with your contributions.
I think this government are just joking with Nigerians over the security matter. Honestly, I live in Kaduna. What I'm seeing a lot of collusion with the federal government on this security matter. Right in my premises, you see people armed, passing there in the night, unrestrained. And it's very unfair, because these people are the same people going to commit havoc in so many areas. They'll question with a lot of guns, and they'll tell us that they are looking for Boko Haram, they are looking for terrorists. Who are these people moving in the midnight? And they by the roadside in Canada. And what we are seeing is not acceptable. They should take Nigeria serious. They should stop doing this kind of things to Nigeria, because people are killed every day. Right where I'm living, they are chasing people right away from their homes. And government tell us they don't know who are this. Why people killing people and nobody arresting them? They'll kill people the next 2 days, they'll come back. The next 2 days, they'll still come back and kill people, and nobody's arrested. For goodness sake, they should stop doing this to Nigerians. We are very unhappy in this country. You will see people walking with arms. About 3 days ago, you see some boys by 2 o'clock coming with long knives to our area, and we're just watching them taking from somewhere. What are they doing in this country to talk to us? Do they think we can?
All right. Sadly, thank you so much for your contributions. Let's quickly go over to the National Star newspaper. I know you still want to comment on that, but let's see what we have in National Star so that we just do that together. The big story there, showing character of federal government, you prescribed IPOB left murderous Mieti Allah to kill and maim. Show evidence of your gains in terrorism fight. Huriwa challenges military. And then we can see down there, at MBA conference, Atiku Obi knocks Buhari, APC insists 2023, not about religion, tribe, but competence. Arewa youth protest 4 billion naira contract awarded to Tompolo Umahi, destroying Ebonyi. APC says party chieftain. Okay, kidnapping of Imo nuns and an invitation to war. Igbo youths won. All right, these are what we have in front of the National Star newspaper.
Yeah, I think I just want to comment on the NBA conference. I want to believe that Nigerians are really out to take back their country. Considering the outing by the presidential candidates of the political parties, and if you look at even the lawyers, the men of the bench and the bar, you will discover that there really has even gotten them here. Every other person is really looking for a way out, and there must be a way out. So, and calling on hitting on APC-led administration and Buhari by the presidential candidates, Atiku and Mr. P2B, it is something that we all in Nigeria are actually calling on them to leave the scene, because so far they've shown that they are really not competent in managing the affairs of this country. That we want to talk about competence. I really want to share my thought and share my sentiments, share their sentiments. What you need to look into is competence and not religion, not tribe, and not zone. The idea is that if you have a competent person at the helm of affairs, definitely things will be going well. Let's take, for instance, if you look at Anambra State as a case study, let's use Anambra State as a case study. Beginning from 2003 till now, you will see that there is a move from one direction to another. There is actually a rise in terms of governance in Anambra State. Every governor will come around, do his bit. The other person will want to do much better, and that's progressively we are where we are today. So, but in the center, which is Nigeria, we allow religion, ethnicity to be crowded our sense of reasoning, thereby relegating competence to the background. But we are saying all the people canvassing for votes and asking people to vote for the right candidates should stand up this time around. Let us vote, because it is our vote. Nobody will enforce, will send down any candidate down our throat if we say no. With our vote, we can vote out anybody. Look at what happened in Rwanda. Rwanda is fastest growing economy in Africa, if not in the world. Go there and see what's going on, because they decided to vote in the right person. So we're saying that this is a time competence must take precedent over any other thing. Every other thing should be secondary. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that. And also, let's look at what some Igbo youths are saying, that the kidnapping of Imo nuns and is an invitation to war. Do you agree with that?
It still boils down to insecurity we're talking about here. And nobody will want to be kidnapped, whether religious, whether a nun, whether bishop, individual. Nobody really want to be kidnapped. So what we are saying is that we are calling for drastic change in security architecture. The governors of southeastern states should come together and forget about this ego of a thing. I want to do it in my own state. Come together, let's find a common front and address this issue of insecurity, because it's actually affecting us. If we allow this kidnapping of the Reverend sisters to just go like that, unabated or just like that, you find out that some person somewhere will find it as a lucrative business. They might decide to even, at a point, to get to every person. For instance, Imo State and Anambra State, with the little knowledge I have in terms of, I know they have a lot of religious, in terms of reverend sisters, reverend fathers, priests and pastors and all that. If you look at these two states religiously, you find out that if this issue of Imo is not addressed critically, other people might come up and see them as targets. If you look at before now, we used to hear kidnapping of Reverend fathers in all parts of the countries, but now they've switched over to Reverend sisters. What does that tell you? That they are really trying to try their luck that way. So we really want to come out and condemn it and fight it headlong. That's my contribution.
All right, quickly, let's go over to the Punch newspaper this morning. Insecurity, economic crisis, Atiku, Obislam, federal government, Shetima sells Tinubu's candidacy, everything negative, situation pathetic, worst ever, PDP, Labour Party presidential candidate. I will hand over federal varsities to state, says Atiku, angry youth to fault ex-vice president. Nation in disarray, Chimamanda Adichie. Tinubu will hit the ground running, Shetima. And then of the NNPC eyes 422 billion naira from 6 IOCs in August. Lawyer sues Buhari over others over NDDC management. ASU NEC decides on strike Sunday. All firms owe banks of 5 trillion naira amid losses and theft. And then we can still see down there, building collapse, Lagos orders probe and police arrest engineer.
Let me quickly add on what Atiku said, handing over the universities to the states. We know historically it used to be a regional thing, and the region we're talking about are the current states we have managing the education sector. But if we can bring up such an idea of handing over universities to states, it should still make do by allowing states to develop at their own pace in terms of devolution of powers. So allowing every state with their own human and natural resources to manage the affairs of the states, and they will grow economically. There must be a competition, a healthy competition. So not just handing over this because to him is a serious challenge. He has no answer. With what Atiku said, he has actually just made it clear that he has no answer to the wrangling issue of ASU strike.
Now, personally, if I should ask you that question, do you think that handing over the schools to states will be a better option to end all this crisis?
Yeah, to some extent, because the states that are not known for education will still come out tops, because those people who appreciate education. There are some people who still believe that education is really not something they want in this life, but they want to make use of those things made up from people who are educated, the inventions, but they will not like to go into education. They see education as a white man's affair. That is one section of the country. But I believe that the southern part of the country will appreciate it. The governors will like to inherit it. Like, imagine a situation where Unizik is now owned by Anambra State. We can do better as a state. But what I'm saying is that going forward, it is not just about handing states over to handing university to states. The article himself, if he emerges the president of this nation, should find a way to do what? Hand over powers. Decentralization of powers in Abuja should not be. States should own certain things, and they should allow their region the state to grow economically at their own pace. I'm just in addition to what Atiku have said, but I'm not seeing it as somebody who has thought it out critically. I'm seeing it as somebody who is bereft of ideas on what to do with the education system.
All right, can you hold your thoughts there? Hello. Good morning. Good morning. All right, please go ahead.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that Atiku is just shying away from the reality. That is what he just did. So he wanted to make it, I will give back the education system to states for them to manage. And he forgot that while doing so, the state will demand for more economic empowerment from the center. So what we are now saying is that let, for instance, Southeast, you have the universities now with you. Now we are saying whatever that is accrual South, in terms of human resources, natural and human resources, should be managed by the southeastern Nigerians. The South House should do so. The northern part of the college should do that. That's what I'm trying to say. So the funding of that education sector, for it to make any headway by the state, they need money, and it must allow them to make use of whatever that is being derived from their own parts. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? So that is it. Atiku is just running away from the responsibility. If I am to be a candidate of a political party, I don't think this is the right time to talk about this. You should give it a trial when you must have given it a good shot. You've not given it a good shot. You've not addressed the education issue. You just went ahead to say that you give back the state, the universities, meaning that you lack the ideas on how to address this issue of poor funding of education in this country. That is what I've seen Atiku as. He's really afraid, and he has nothing to offer in terms of moving the education sector forward.
All right, everybody's entitled to his or her own opinion anyways. All right, quickly, let's see what we have in front of the Nation newspaper this morning. It's still about Tinubu and Atiku rolling out plans on economy and security. Then no work, no pay rule. NLC backs ASU on salary arrears. And then we still have there as a rider, paid lecturers to end strike, Labour urges government. Why I don't end MPP by Shekarau. Scores of militants killed as NAVJet hit ISWAP's camp in Sambisa. Lawyer, EFCC can probe state accounts and finances. Tribunal grants Oyetola APC access to poll materials. Okay? So let's still talk about the ASU strike now. The policy, no work, no pay rule. You know, they have already reached an agreement, and the federal government have agreed to pay a certain amount of money. 150 billion. And then they are now saying that what about the 5 months that they stay at home that they need to be paid? Labour is actually backing them. So.
And I'm in full support of that.
Okay.
They should be paid. In fact, they should be paid because if you look at what triggered, what actually brought about the strike, the federal government should own up to its responsibility. Let them pay them, and even pay them with additional thank you, sir.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. Hello, good morning. Please, if you want to call us, step away from where your TV set is located, or you just tone down the volume very well so that we can hear you from this end. All right. Having said that, let's also move over to the next paper that we have under review this morning, and that is the Daily Trust newspaper. What do we have in front of the Daily Trust this morning? We still have the big story there. Atiku, Shetima, Obi proffer solutions to Nigerian challenges. And then I'll attract local foreign investment in health and education, SVP. Still Atiku talking here. You should vote for competent Labour Party candidate tells the citizens will lead our troops to front lines, APC running mate. Again, MPF, PS clash over constables recruitment. Federal government introduces rotavirus vaccine to avert 111,000 children's death. Shakarau punctures Kwankwaso's claim, leaves supporters guessing. And then accidented vehicles flood Nigerians' market as cost of Tokumbo rises by 100%.
This is in fact, if looking at the caption from that Daily Trust newspaper, I think I wouldn't know, because they've always want to be seen as a regional paper. Always, in terms of, if you look at it, they said Atiku, Shetima, Obi prefer solution to Nigeria's challenges. That's, for me, Shetima there is a representative of the presidential candidate of All Progressive Congress. Tinubu. So what is Shetima doing there? Even to even bring to a Shetima ahead of Tinubu will show you how biased they are. But that's on the sideline. Let me talk about what I'm trying to say is that what are the solutions preferred? If you look at these three men and if you listen to their speeches, you find out that, okay, look at Shetima coming, who represented the Tinubu, the candidate of APC. He said that the Tinubu will handle economy, why he will be in charge of security. What do you make out of this statement? So the vice presidential candidate is now assigning a duty to his boss. Do you understand me? That should tell you where we are headed.
Probably they had a discussion before he came on
board.
How
can they have such a discussion whereby it's never been seen? The president is the chief of armed forces. You understand me? He's in charge of security, and you are telling us as a vice presidential candidate or even a VP that you will be in charge of security. And your boss will be in charge of economy. It's a slap to Tinubu if you look at it in all form of. In fact, there is really the man really will I say that he really berated his boss by making such statements. If you talk about profiling solution, we've known your antecedents and some of your dealings with those tormenting the northern parts of the country, whatever, either by commission or omission. Shetima, what brought about? What makes you a security expert? If you check out his background, he was a banker and he gets into politics and a governor and all. So you are now trying to tell us that you have expertise in security matters. It is neither here nor there. What I'm trying to say is that if you look at it critically, we will know that I'm seeing somebody being there as a president where some people will be there in taking charge or even churning out decisions that will affect Nigeria adversely. That is what we are looking at. Look at that statement by Shetima and you know that those people, they are really not sleeping. In fact, if I'm to be Tinubu right now, I think it's time to call him, hey, Oga, calm down. You need to calm down, please. I am still the candidate and you are not yet a candidate. And for Derry Trust to present Shetima before Obi and not leaving out Tinubu, who is the candidate of the party, we really need to look at it again. That's my observation.
Well, let's look at this from another angle. Now, it's just not we're not talking about Shetima again and Tinubu, but let's actually analyze it where we have a president and a vice president that actually shared their responsibilities, and we know that this particular person is taking care of this, and the other person is taking care of it. Would it be a better option? It
is a constitutional matter. You're a Nigerian. You are exposed. You're educated. It can't tell me that a vice president should talk about being in charge of security. We didn't elect him. Remember, we elected the president to lead us, and he's the number one security officer in the nation. So that thing is what I'm trying to look at. I follow that statement. Okay. Shetima.
All right, I said we are not talking about Shetima. I'm just giving you another scenario.
Yeah, but there's no way you share such a sensitive role, assign it to your VP. It might not make it conspicuous. It might be within a discussion in-house discussion. But making it public portends danger.
All right. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Who do we have here? All right. Let's also see what we have in the next paper this morning. That is the This Day newspaper. Let's see the banner headlines in front of This Day newspaper this morning. At MBA conference, Atiku Obi Shetima decries state of Nigerian profit solutions. Police assassination plot against ex-Speaker Dogara true, say a suspect has confessed to plan. Disclose further investigation ongoing. Lawmakers knock TCN over inability to explain power generation. Someone MD alleged 3 persons committed Nigeria to $33 million monthly payment for Azura power deal. Federal government begins talks with airlines over trapped funds. And then you can still see there, Shekarau Kwankwaso betrayed my confidence in NMPP. And then we'll see the picture of the people there, 2022 MBA annual conference. So the picture of the candidates that actually attended that conference. Okay.
Yeah. Looking at what Shakararu said that Kwankwaso betrayed his confidence in NMPP. I think it was really Kwankwaso. He has seen that had he been, let me say, he agrees to be the vice presidential candidate of a Labour Party right now. It might be the hype might be so high by now. But if you notice the very day he decided to make it public that he is not interested or he is not in alliance with the Labour Party presidential candidates, I'm just trying to discuss politics in a way with my little observation as a public affairs analyst. Ever since then, Kwankwaso has dropped, his rating in the country has dropped to abysmal level. In fact, to the lowest ebb. Because before now, people used to see him as somebody who has what it takes to make some noise in terms of having some followers. But it's obvious that he has none. So Shakara saying this is just putting a nail in the coffin already. So he's just trying to rubbish the man finally. So I'm not saying that I'm happy what is going on between Shakara and Kwankwaso. But it's sometimes, my brother, do not overrate yourself. Sometimes don't make yourself a demigod. The way he went about talking about himself then, immediately it was so obvious that he's not in alliance with a particular political party. You've seen what the result, and the results are so to his own detriment. Nobody is talking about him anymore. It's no longer a force. So that is just what my advice to him. He really need to go back to the drawing board and put up his thinking cap if actually he has a future politically in the nearest future. Thank you.
All right, our next paper this morning is a Daily Independent newspaper. We still have the banner headline with the same story there, talking about what happened at the NBA conference. And then away from that, foreign airlines, $464 million blocked fund crisis being resolved. Federal government, we can still see up there. Lassa fever claims 158 lives in 24 states within 6 months. Monkeypox cases soar to spread to 26 states, including the Federal Capital Territory. And BOT Chairman Walid Jibril kicks against Northern dominance in PDP. Federal government bans use of foreign models and voice-over artists for adverts. Federal government ratifies international legal instrument on cybercrime. I'm done with Kwankwaso, NNPP, says Shakarao. All right, we've talked about that. We've talked about that one, but
but let me quickly add the dominance of Northerners in PDP. If you watch, is a calculated attempt. If you look at, they are still there in APC, they are there in PDP. It's about just a political arrangement. Nothing stops anyone from joining any political parties of your choice. The question is that if you put your ass together, definitely there must be a dominance. The dominance he's talking about is because some person somewhere decided to share their eggs, not to have it circled in one particular basket. You get it? So, and that is why it is so obvious as if they are in charge. If you look at historically how the PDP came about, it used to be Southern stuff. Those that actually who brought about this PDP we're talking about today, we are led from people from the southeastern Nigeria. But today, the Northerners, they notice that the only way you can even the two major political parties for us to dominate here and dominate the other side. So that is just it. I don't blame them from that. If anybody is feel threatened, the person should mobilize his people and have dominate a particular political party.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Tell us your name and your location.
My name is Femi Thomas.
Thomas from where?
I am calling from Benue State.
Go ahead, Thomas.
Yes, I want to add my view on the absence of the APC presidential candidate, Chief Tinubu. Let me put it to you. It is a very big slap on the judiciary. His invitation to the NBA conference was for him to sell his candidacy, to go there to tell Nigerians his manifesto. But he refused to appear before the NBA conference. It speaks volume. It needs a total explanation from him. Why must he shun such a highly exalted invitation by a group of learned gentlemen in Nigeria, to be precise, the judiciary? You see, the statement credited to Chief he will take over the security architecture of Nigeria, while his principal, Chief Tinubu, the actual presidential candidate of APC, it looks suspicious. The president is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. If the vice president should arrogate such a power to himself, it means that whosoever is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Nigeria is the actual president. APC should let us know exactly where they are driving at by telling Nigerians that the vice president is going to take over the security architecture of the country, Nigeria. You see, constitutionally, the president is the commander-in-chief. In the states, the bonus are the chief security officers of all the states. They are presiding. For Shetima, the vice presidential candidate of APC, to come before the MBA conference to tell the whole world that he's going to take over the security architecture needs to be expressed very well. That is my submission on that side. On the eastern part.
Thank you so much for that. It's a wonderful contribution. Let's quickly see what we have in front of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Then MBA conference, Adichie decries a leadership deficit as candidate unveils 2023 agenda. And then PDP considers Southwest for IU's replacement. Gunmen abduct Rivers Monarch and police launch manhunt. Then we still have the Atiku will not hand over federal universities to states, 8 clarifies. Tinubu ordered INEC to release Osun polls material to Oyetola APC for inspection. Why suspects wanted to kill Dogara by Bauchi CP? That's inside the inside. You can see that's in page 10 of the Guardian newspaper. Quickly, let's see what we have in front of the other paper that we have. That is Nigerian Tribune. Let's take them together. Hoodlums disrupt chieftaincy ceremony. Olubado condemns act. Water tank falls on house in Lagos and kills 2. Federal government introduces rotavirus vaccine to avert over 110,000 children's death. A student calls for PPP to fund universities.
That's, in fact, I want to actually commend Chimamanda Adichie for her courage, for speaking truth to power. You know, sometimes what we have in this country are mainly sycophants. Sycophants in the real sense of it, because of baggage, people will see the right thing, they will not say it because I don't know what I will say. They will reach EFCC on me and people will come after me. Not that people, they know the truth. You know, I'm talking about the elites, those people, the political class, even the religious leaders to a certain point, they are afraid to speak truth to power. But we must congratulate our dear sister, an icon, you know, a gender-sensitive woman, because he made a very silent observation immediately he came. And if you remember her speech, why is it that the men, the winners of NBA football competition got about 400 and something thousand, why the ladies are giving a below sum? And immediately over 4 million naira was raised. That should tell you her mindset. I know that's what we talk about, enlightened mind, having competence over mediocrity, over religious sentiment, over ethnicity. A lady like that coming out to talk about the women, and the women is talking about is actually every woman in the world, because if you talk about a woman, you are representing a woman across the globe. So that singular act alone shows the type of mindset and the kind of person she is. By speaking truth to power, she came out openly and outrightly condemned what is happening in Nigeria, the ailing economy, the insecurity, and everything that is anything bad that is happening in this country, she really said it the way it is. And I really have to thank her and ask her to continue in that direction. People like us are really looking up to people like her to go out there to continue to speak truth to power. Just recently, a bishop in Cross River State rejected the sum of 25 million naira, as reported in some media, that a governor gave him that money, and he said, no, use this money and go and pay what the workers. That's the kind of leaders we are talking about. The likes of Chairman Adichie, the likes of that of Bishop, Kali Bishop of Calabar, Cross River State. These are the people we should give Woman or Man of the Year award. In fact, these are the people who are actually spoken for Nigerians, and that's what I'm trying to talk about. Not giving out people who will give you money and how much are they bringing to the table. The likes of that Cross River State Bishop should be the Man of the Year in every organization that is giving an award for such. He deserves the award, and more people should speak truth to power. By so doing, some governors, the president should sit up.
All right. Well, I want to say a very big thank you to you, Comrade, for joining us on Press Review this morning. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you, Danambra.
Well, that's it on Press Review on ABS TV this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. After the short break, we'll see you at the other side for other things this morning. My name is Chidima Orawa. Stay with us.